Welcome to the Total Football Podcast. My name is Declan Hare and I'm joined by Andrew Conway.
Hello.
This week we'll discuss the Premier League title race, managerial merry-go-round and preview the upcoming World Cup playoffs. In October of 2009, Sir Alex Ferguson said of referee Alan Wiley that he wasn't fit, he was walking, needing a rest. And on Saturday, referee Bobby Madley proved his lack of fitness as he was substituted off with a calf injury, replaced by John Moss. How strange is this really?
I think you're being a bit cruel to little Bobby Madley. It happens. I remember a charity match. It was at the, what do they call that, Soccer Aid they do every other year. Robbie Williams and Collina, the famous Italian bald referee, played ref for about 10 minutes and then pulled up his hamstring and had to be stretchered off. You know, it happens to the best of them.
Yeah, I'm surprised it actually doesn't happen more often when you consider like how much they run through the duration of a match. Like they run about 10-12k, I'd say. Yeah,
well, I don't know. Did they run that far?
I think that's how maybe it's 8, but it's still like a lot.
Yeah, they are, and they're doing a lot of sprints and stuff like that, but they're getting well compensated for it.
Yeah. Well, they probably have the worst job at football as well. They go along with it.
Yeah. Well, one of the worst jobs. They have a lot of abuse to do.
Thankless jobs. Yes. But with that, we'll move on now to the news. This week in the Premier League, Man City further increased their gap at the top of the Premier League table thanks to a 3-1 win against Arsenal.
Yeah. It wasn't the most convincing performance for Man City so far this season.
Yeah, I thought they were a bit shaky.
Yeah, they were the better side. You have to say they created more of the chances, and they were clinical whenever those chances presented themselves because they were fortuitous with two of the goals. And you have to say when they were presented in front of them, they took them. Yeah,
like they looked tired as well.
Yeah, well, they had just had to play the midweek.
So, like, the international break has kind of come at the right time for them, I think.
Yeah, a lot of their players are going to get, well, you know, a lot of the players who play for Man City have a breather now because they're qualified. It's friendlies. They mightn't get a game. They might be given a run around really more so than an intense midweek international match. Yeah. So they should come back.
None of them are in the playoffs, I don't think, or anything.
No, I don't think so. They're all free and clear for the most part.
Yeah, and some of them aren't even, like, they're quality players, but they're not starting for the national team.
Ederson, for instance, the goalkeeper, isn't starting.
Sergio Aguero isn't playing for Argentina.
Yeah.
Is Leroy Sané in the German starting 11?
He'll probably, I can imagine he'll play because if they're playing England, so I'd say he'll play in England just because his form is such that it is at the moment, and he'll be playing a lot of defenders he knows.
Yeah. Who else is in the Man City team?
No, that's mostly, you know, they won't have a huge, like, that's the reality of it. Like, I don't see Kevin De Bruyne really starting for Belgium in a friendly match for them. Like, it's going to be a fairly quiet period for them, which is probably what they needed considering the frenetic pace they've been taking up. Now, just while we're on the Man City match, I don't think Arsenal were anywhere near that bad.
No, it was just they weren't perfect. No. That's probably the best way to put it.
Because the first goal that came through was a fantastic finish by
De Bruyne on his weak foot as well.
On his weaker foot, just created a 1-2, space opened after sustained pressure against Arsenal.
Yeah.
And he just took the chance, and he finished it very well. Yeah. Arsenal really didn't do anything wrong to that point, and they didn't even do much wrong with the defending.
Like they were creating chances themselves as well up to that point. It looked like they might take the lead at some point, but like once they went 1-0 down, it looked like it was kind of over. Though they did come back into it in the second half, and Ramsey had a great chance on half time. Yeah, that Ederson did really well to save.
Yeah, Ederson again has been fantastic so far this season.
Huge upgrade on Claudio Bravo last year.
He was shaky at the very beginning of the season. If you remember, people were saying, they brought another Bravo for 30 years.
I remember in the pre-season friendlies, he was pretty poor as well.
Yeah, but it seems once the actual match has started, he's very good passing. He's very good on shots, and he's
making the case for one of the best goalkeepers in the league at this point. Top 5, certainly.
Like, certainly South American goalkeepers that haven't been famed for coming out and commanding crosses and things like that. But, you know, maybe he isn't the strongest at that, but he is, like, very quick off his line.
And he did very well to come back from being kicked in the face as well.
He did, and getting those scars.
He was back a couple of weeks later, which is really impressive. Like, he showed a toughness there, I think.
Yeah, he's a solid signing. I think more so than any of the other signings Man City have made over the summer.
Yeah, it really helps the defence know that the goalkeeper will save them anytime they do mess up.
The defence was carved open, though, as you were saying. Aaron Ramsey and Alexander Lacazette combined for the bringing Arsenal the goal back into
it was a good finish by Lacazette, and I still have to question why the most expensive player Arsenal have ever signed isn't playing 90 minutes at all.
I'm not it's a weird situation. Like Wenger did by the end of it have two recognised number 9 strikers on the pitch, and he was playing a much more conventional 4-4-2.
Yeah.
He went back to a kind of 4 that kind of melded into a 6 at the back at times in City, which is the first time he's used that since last season, and it kind of worked well. But as I think Sanchez was started up front instead of Lacazette because he runs a lot more than Lacazette. Lacazette does run and does track, but he doesn't have the gusto or pressing ability of Sanchez. But at the same time, that meant that there was no one up further up the field.
And I felt like Sanchez just didn't have a good game yesterday either. No. Like, did you see that corner in the first half that just went straight to a Man City player?
Yeah, it's,
like, that probably summed up his performance best.
Yeah, I don't think Man City needs Sanchez at the moment, but if they want to sign him,
maybe Wenger would just, play terribly.
Yeah, maybe, put him off signing, and it might have worked. But Man City fortuitous with the penalty, probably a penalty.
I think it was a penalty.
It was a push on,
despite what Wenger said.
Was it Raheem Sterling?
It was Raheem Sterling.
Raheem Sterling got pushed from Monreal and a penalty was given. That kind of ended the match as a contest. That made it 2-0, and at that point Arsenal kind of just...
Yeah, it seemed like a 2-1 though. They might get an equaliser, but then the third goal, which was way offside. It was a good yard offside.
2 players were yard offside for it, but at the same time the Arsenal defenders stopped playing, which you never should do.
I can't remember seeing a defender be so convinced at the trying to convince the referee so hard that
the Fabian Barthez FA Cup match against West Ham for Manchester United in 2000 when he just held his hand up.
Oh well, there's always Shay Given running at whoever the referee was again when Henry handled the ball.
Yeah, there is situations like that, but
that was a bit more extreme.
Yeah, it was a lot more at stake in that match than there was in this early season.
Yeah, and I think Pep summed it up pretty well after the match when he was like, "Oh, well, I still think we played the best and we deserve to win." Yeah,
overall I'd say they did, and Pep was wearing the better attire with his hoodie and jumper combo.
That really sealed the deal for.
He's bringing new fashion into the Premier League.
Yeah, that's the real innovation here.
It is. It's like Germany and Spain all combined into one.
Yeah, and. Man City, even when they play poorly, they still look really good.
Yeah, they're just a cut above. They created space. When Arsenal kind of matched the man for man, they dropped De Bruyne, went very deep, and various other players started moving positions. Although Arsenal, very weird thing that happened was the wingers for Manchester City kept swapping wings.
Yeah.
So the Arsenal fullbacks also swapped wings with them. So you had Kolasinac playing right back multiple times during that first half, and Bellerin playing left back because they were following their wingers. It was interesting, so there wouldn't be too much force put on.
It was interesting that they did swap the fullbacks as well instead of just keeping them.
Yeah, it was an odd thing because you don't see it much you see wingers swapping plenty of times. You don't often see fullbacks swapping.
Yeah, and it's just another weekly reminder that Bellerin should get a haircut at this point.
Yeah, well, I think he's going somewhere with it. I think he must.
Well, he's actually letting it down now instead of doing that terrible bun. But he still looks like someone that should be in a production of Romeo and Juliet.
Possibly. He looked all right. I don't understand what's his motivation. I think he's going for something. He might be going for whole of his back hair type of thing, or maybe going for...
It's not working, whatever it is he's going for.
It's not the poor guy.
But in the other side of Manchester United lost this weekend, effectively ending the title race, is it?
Well, it's looking very hard to see. What is it? They're 8 points behind?
8 points behind, so we're talking...
And goal difference is significant.
Yeah,
so it's basically 9 points.
Goals, I think.
So three victories.
Yeah,
3 losses.
United have an impressive goal difference, but it's completely dwarfed by Man City.
Yeah, and Manchester United are about to enter into a tough part of the season.
Yeah.
How many matches? That's 2 of the last 3 they've lost, is it?
That's 2 of the last 3 in the league, yeah.
Yeah, and they have to yet play in the next few weeks.
They have to play Arsenal, are the only top side they have to play left.
Do they have to play Man City as well?
Oh, they play Man City. Yeah.
Don't forget that match. Yeah, you've just written that one off as well. Yeah. So in the next month or so, before Christmas, they have to play Arsenal and Man City.
They play Benfica, or not Benfica, they play Brighton and Newcastle next, I think.
Yeah,
which is... kind of eases off.
I don't know, Rafa and Mourinho, they really do hate each other.
I feel like Rafa doesn't have the best of records against United, though, bar that one year.
No, but he has a better...
United apart.
He does have a better record against Mourinho, though.
Yeah.
That's something that must be remembered, and he does hate Mourinho with a passion.
Yeah.
And Mourinho's going to do the same back to him. So
that'll be fun.
Yeah, we're not saying that the league title's over by any stretch, but it's just looking...
No, I do think Man City will have a dip in form. Like,
that's what you presume.
I think, yeah, but like it's not sustainable. But like a bad performance, I could see like they were tired against Arsenal, and like this is the last international break until March.
Yeah,
so I could see them suffering in like January when there's a lot of matches.
When the richest club in the world just go and buy another 5 players, Sanchez will be bought at that point then.
But like just that Christmas period could be tough for them because of the amount of running that they do. It could just by the end of it they could be completely wrecked. Yeah,
it could well be the way, but at other times they seem to, if you remember when he had his Bayern Munich side, they might have thought the same.
Well, they had the Christmas break in Germany.
They did do that, but they did have the league title won by March, so they could focus entirely on the Champions League each of the seasons.
It didn't work out well, though.
No, well, if Man City get to the same level that Bayern Munich got to in the Champions League under Pep, Man City fans would be delighted. Semi-finals competing.
Because like the year they did get to the semi-final, it was pure look at the draw. Like it wasn't a case of they took on the best teams in Europe to get there. And like that happens in the Champions League, but it was not something that they could have easily built on with Pellegrini.
Yeah, but now under Pep, I don't think Pep's
it looks like they will have reached that level.
Yeah, he's not afraid of any team that they could come up against.
Yeah, and like the Champions League is so open this season, like you could legitimately say that they have a chance of winning it.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. But like Man United then on the other hand could be the opposite.
Yeah, they started with a crazy kind of 7 at the back.
Yeah, but like but it was very high up the pitch as well.
Yeah, like, and a tiny pitch at Stamford Bridge as well, where you can't really play a high line.
I don't understand the thinking behind playing Chris Smalling on a high line. Like
he was making a few errors. Phil Jones was looking not to be sent off. He was making rash challenges.
Yeah, that's why he was took off as well.
He was substituted because
Herrera as well.
He made a couple of very sly, because they were all against Eden Hazard.
Yeah.
They were definitely intentionally.
It was very much like the FA Cup match last season.
Exactly. Very lucky not to be sent off again like that match last season. And then they just isolated Lukaku,
but Lukaku and Rashford were up front together, and they isolated both of them.
Yeah, because there's nothing. Yeah, they're playing long balls.
That's the state of things at Man United. The two strikers can get isolated up front.
Long balls were hoofed towards Lukaku. Lukaku would head them down. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I can't.
Like Mkhitaryan wasn't in the game. Like he's just a passenger.
He was even there
he's a passenger in the system. Like it's not that Mkhitaryan's a bad player, and he's gotten a lot of criticism.
But he's basically playing fullback when he's playing in the team.
He's pointless in the team at the moment just because of Mourinho's system.
Valencia, who last season had one of his best games ever against Chelsea. I think he was man of the match in that match against Chelsea last season. At Old Trafford. And he was not good this time around.
No, he's not picked up his form from last season.
No, he's getting on now.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He's getting old. Well. He captained the side, but he was backed up by Mkhitaryan, who isn't the best defensive player either. So you had... Like,
Mkhitaryan just isn't... He's like Mata in the sense that he just doesn't track back and run and make tackles.
Yeah. Or Mata not even in.
Yeah, Mata's not getting a look in at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's not looking good for him at United.
No, and neither is David Luiz at the Chelsea side. He was dropped entirely.
Yeah, it looks like they've had a falling out as well. That's what's been reported anyway.
Like Conte played 5 defenders yesterday.
Yeah.
And not one of them was David Luiz, so he's having fallen out.
He wasn't even on the bench either. No. They put a youngster on the bench instead.
Yeah, he was sitting there at one Mata, I saw before the match, having the chat. So, you know, there is upheaval in that match. Chelsea were well worth their win.
Yeah, they deserved to win. Yeah, Bakayoko probably could have had a hat-trick.
Yeah, he was bad finishing. Yeah. Morata had a bunch of chances where he just couldn't get any power behind
they hit
them.
The side netting, and we can't forget, of course, Phil Jones' amazing finish in the first half.
Which, if we go back to that goal quickly, that probably was a goal. I don't think it was a foul on Phil Jones.
He pushes the man, he clips his heel.
Yeah, but then Phil Jones threw himself at a flying volley to score an own goal.
It was an amazing own goal.
Like, if he hadn't done anything...
Well, no, I don't think he would have kicked it in that manner.
Yeah, but what was he doing kicking it?
He was trying to clear it out for a corner.
But the angle he was going at, the best he could have hoped for was a corner. He was never worst case scenario.
I do think it was a foul, but it was an amazing finish.
It was great. Phil Jones, what a player.
Yeah.
Caught out for the goal as well, though.
Yeah, it was weird as well because Jones would push up a lot just because the midfield was getting overrun, but Manic would take his place in the back three. Yeah. And it was like in that transition phase that when Chelsea attacked, like I'm surprised that they didn't score more from that kind of thing because
they're just poor finishing. Yeah. They had a bunch of chances. They had ones like I remember Morata got 1-on-1. They broke away.
Yeah, and then Chris Smalling just got back in time.
It's very bad for a team that starts with 7 players in defensive mode.
Yeah,
against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, a tiny pitch, to get caught out repeatedly on the counter attack. And if you remember the last few minutes of the match, when there was 4 or 5 minutes.
It was 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, 4 or 5 minutes, and Man United had the ball, and they were just launching it.
But they couldn't even get the ball for some of it as well.
Yeah, it's what I'm not sure what Mourinho. We've talked about Mourinho before. We had a topic of the show about him where we kind of went through his tactics and launched the ball towards Fellaini, which he did. He brought on Fellaini.
Fellaini created as many chances when he was on the pitch as the rest of the United team combined, which was 2. Like, that says a lot. I think he won 8 aerial duels as well, I think, which was the most on the pitch.
Yeah, and he got booked for one of them, I believe, as well.
Yeah,
he elbowed Morata in the head fairly intentionally.
Yeah, his elbows are everywhere. He might as well have 4 or 5 of them.
Well, it was very funny. I remember I was watching it, and it was a goal kick, I think, and Fellaini went up when he won the ball and elbowed Morata in the head and was given a yellow card. And then it was immediately after another free kick or something like that, and exactly the same situation.
Yeah.
No elbows, because he'd just been booked.
Yeah.
So it is clearly a ploy from Fellaini to elbow people in the head. It's not like, this is just...
he gets all of his yellow cards are for elbows to the face.
Well, if you elbow people in the face, you should expect to get a few yellow cards.
Yeah, no, but he just does it so often, and he gets a lot of yellow cards for it. It's absurd, really.
Yeah, but that is Marwan Fellaini. What a player. The star man.
At Man United.
Playing false line for Manchester United.
Yeah, Ken Early did a very good piece calling Man United the most expensive long ball team ever assembled.
He really does not like, Ken Early really does not like Manchester United.
No, he really doesn't.
Current guys.
There's a certain joy out of just hearing him talk about Mourinho's Manchester United.
Well, they are probably the most expensively assembled.
Yeah, maybe team. PSG might.
I don't think they're long ball.
They're not a long ball team. Yeah. No, I'm just talking about most expensive.
Oh no, yeah, but certainly long ball tactics. They are very much an expensive side that is one trick pony.
Yeah,
and if it doesn't work, which it hasn't against.
Yeah, just Mourinho's tactics are so one dimensional. Like, it just seems like we've had this kind of conversation before. Like, it just is Mourinho just being outdated at this point. Like,
I think it's fair to say that he is.
Yeah, like,
he's coming to the end of his tether. Like, it happens to all great managers; they reach the end of their useful life. And he doesn't have that legacy building gene that, say, Ferguson had.
He won't adapt.
No, he won't. He won't change things. He doesn't change his personality. He doesn't change his style. He doesn't change his tactics. He changes abrasive presence on the
It's
bench.
so cyclical as well. Like, the first season is building, the second season is successful, the third season is calamity. But I can already see the source of calamity appearing in the way, like, if you remember Lukaku's quotes when he was still at Everton talking about how he was really annoyed at how they played against the big teams and then he wasn't getting service. Yeah. And like the same thing is happening now at Man United, and he was supposed to go to United to get away from that. Yeah,
but you don't go play under Jose Mourinho if you don't want to play long.
But like, it's just, it doesn't help his reputation. Like, he's a good striker, but just when every time they play a big game, it's always, Lukaku disappeared. But it's very harsh on Lukaku, really, considering like the rest of the team isn't helping them. Yeah,
but I wouldn't worry. I'd say Lukaku will outlive Mourinho at Manchester United. And probably another manager will come in and maybe sell him, and we'll have a Benteke situation.
We'll see then. I'm very curious as to see what will happen post Mourinho at United.
It's something we will revisit at the time, I'm sure.
Yeah. Then moving away from the title race, down at the bottom of the table, Slaven Bilic has been sacked finally as West Ham manager.
How many weeks have we spoken about Slaven Bilic?
Too many.
I think it was even going back to Frank de Boer when he got sacked after how many 3 matches?
Yeah, we thought he was going to be.
We thought Bilic
first.
would be ahead of him because Bilic's form was running on from last season. But West Ham chose not to sack him. They chose not to sack him 6 matches in. They chose not to sack him 8 matches in.
Why now? Why leave it so late?
I don't know. They seem like they beat Spurs in the League
Cup, yeah.
And that obviously, I don't know what that
bottom 2 matches
exactly, and then he just didn't win those matches.
Yeah, so. Who did they play last weekend that they lost to?
It's Crystal Palace.
Oh, they drew at Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace, yeah.
And then were just terrible at home against Liverpool.
Yeah, but it's a weird, because you were saying you gave us a stat before we started the show.
Yes, 7 of the last 13 Premier League managers.
No, not that stat. The stat about Slaven Bilic's actual win percentage at West Ham being better than any other West Ham Premier League manager. So any other manager in the last 30 years.
1.33 points per game.
Which better than Harry Redknapp, better than Glenn Roeder, better than Avram Grant, better than Gianfranco Zola.
Sam
better than Big Sam, who was acrimoniously removed from the club, because they did do very well under him. Like, this is a manager who has some pedigree, has done well with Croatia, has done well with Besiktas, came in, changed the way West Ham played, changed the personnel entirely.
Yeah,
worked with whatever the board is at West Ham that seems to be an absolute basket case, selling players and buying players.
Yeah, with no real ambition or consistency.
Yeah, no real design in their madness, really. And he did okay with it, but you could see last season the job was getting to him. As in, he wasn't happy, he wasn't content. He's very hard to hide his feelings in post-match games, and he was annoyed.
His post-match press conferences are probably he's up there with Van Gaal for people I'm going to miss in the Premier League for his press conferences.
He was very frank and he was
very honest, and
funny as well.
And who can forget the time he picked up the microphone and just slammed it into the crowd last season?
Yeah, poor guy. A lot of issues. He became more and more melancholic as the time went on.
Yeah, I even remember in his first season when he was very successful with West Ham. They finished 6th, I think, that year, the final year at the Boleyn Ground. I remember they beat Liverpool at Anfield, and I'll never forget his press conference afterwards. And just we parked the bus, and he was very honest about his. But
he knows what level he's at in terms of West Ham in the league. No offense to them, but they're not challenging from the league title. Now, with Leicester winning the league that year, it kind of put all these mid-ranking clubs as in teams that aren't considered
it overshadowed West Ham and Southampton.
It did, that had very good seasons. Any other year, he'd be like, oh, this guy is one of the
it even overshadowed Tottenham. It's just the fact that Tottenham came back the year afterwards.
Exactly. That's, it's a tough situation, but clearly it was done.
Yeah, the players, it was time for him to go.
Yeah, the players aren't playing for him. Not that he has many players at the club. Who are they playing up front now?
Either Hernandez, but he's not getting the service. Andy Carroll is there, but he's always injured.
Their midfield is aging. Their defence is shoddy.
They have been unlucky with injuries as well. Lanzini, their best player, has been out for most of the season. He's only back now, really.
They decided to sign Joe Hart, which proved to be not a good decision due to the few matches. If those matches that Joe Hart made mistakes for, the Manchester United match, he was kind of caught out a couple of times.
He was caught out for most of those goals, really.
If those matches had been different,
just the goal against Crystal Palace, he was actually pretty good against Crystal Palace, but that late equaliser, any time a shot is down to his left, he can't get it.
Yeah, and just their little margins, and that could have changed the mood at West Ham right from the get-go, and really spurred them on. But now Slaven Bilic has paid the price for those mistakes and those general apathetic performances from the West Ham players.
And it looks like David Moyes is going to be the one to replace him.
Oh, David Moyes. He didn't get enough out of his, relegating Sunderland.
Yeah, he just wants to depress more people, it seems.
He does. I know we're going to talk about this more in the topic of the show, but I don't know what's got into the West Ham management who want to sign David Moyes at this point. He's not going to give your team a boost.
No, he's not someone, he's got low level confidence as it is, so I don't expect him to inspire people with low confidence to altogether get a high boost of confidence.
The things you used to associate David Moyes with were a well organised defence.
Yeah.
Loyal players who give a fight. Functional teams.
Yeah.
But all of that's gone out the window unless
you actually look back and you think, okay, an Everton David Moyes would actually be a really good appointment for West Ham, but it's just he's not that man anymore.
No, he's not.
Man United just destroyed his whole legacy.
He's been on the way down since then. Yeah. Real Sociedad had a bit of a boost at the start, but then Sunderland was a disaster from start to finish.
And going in with such a defeatist attitude did not help.
No, and I don't know what he's we're yet to hear him speak at the time of recording.
He's yet to be appointed yet, but it does look like he will be appointed.
So what, I don't know what his frame of mind is in this. He's kept relatively quiet over.
He was interviewed by Richard Keys yesterday, but he was very, diplomatic about it, didn't really say anything. He was like, oh, well, there's still a manager there and all that, so I can't really say anything just yet.
Yeah, which is, code for, yes, I'm taking the job.
Pretty much.
Because otherwise, why would you be on that show, and why would you even entertain a question like that? The dignified thing to do would be completely no, I have no.
Yeah,
no
exactly. Yeah.
I'm not allowed to speak. But no, he didn't do that. He played himself up. He talked himself up. He hyped himself.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what managers do these days.
Yeah. I think that will do us for the news. I think we're going to move on to topic of the show
right after this break. British managers and the managerial merry-go-round is what we want to talk about this week on the top of the show. Clubs like West Ham and Everton have been dreadful for most of the season, yet the normal attitude to performances like this is sack the manager. In both of these cases, neither team sacked the manager for ages. They let things go on and on and on and on, getting worse and worse, so both teams are now down in the doldrums of the Premier League when they had high ambitions at the start of the season. So why is it taking so long for clubs to sack managers and to make hard decisions, whether it be support the manager or sack them or anything else like that? Why does a club like Manchester United only have two managerial options when they sack Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho or Ryan Giggs? Why is there such a small playing pool of managers? Why do managers go on the Richard Keys show or go on Soccer Saturday and bemoan the lack of opportunities for British managers? Why is all of this happening?
I think that the fact that a lot of managers that you associate as we'll sack this manager and bring in this manager because he's a quick fix. You think of those managers as Big Sam, Alan Pardew. Before he would have thought of Alan Pardew, well, you could have thought of Alan Pardew as that.
But going back to 20, 30 years, Ron Atkinson made his whole career about doing this.
Yeah, but lately in the Premier League, there was a time about 10 years ago when a lot of people bemoaned the way football has turned into is managers are sacked too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But because these managers gotten around to so many different clubs, it feels weird for them to just go back and fix the club again. Like Big Sam and Alan Pardew have both been at West Ham. They haven't been at Everton, but Everton consider themselves too big for those managers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a case of, we can't really go back to the well, so we might as well stick with what we have. Or we don't know who to bring in.
Yeah, there seems to be a complete lack of supply as far as the clubs are concerned of high quality managers. Like, you have people like Phil Thompson on Sky Sports on Soccer Saturday coming on and saying, we have this manager and this manager and this manager who are British and they want to take on these clubs, yet they never get their opportunities. But those managers are unproven, so they won't get these opportunities. And they blame, players or managers like Marco Silva coming in, who's won league titles in different countries. He has a pedigree. He had a playing pedigree.
He's been successful already.
He has, and that is why he got the job. And even then, that was a huge risk on Hull's part.
And it's the same with Pochettino back in the day. These clubs are willing to take a risk, and it's proved it's proved well in the end.
But now, as you were saying, these things have kind of changed, where they're not taking risks. They're not having.
There's just a complete lack of scouting.
But I think it's because they're terrified. I think these clubs are terrified at the moment. The Premier League is a huge, huge money winner.
Yeah.
They can make more money at the Premier League TV rights than they could ever make from any other avenue.
Even just by finishing 17th every year.
It is, even from getting parachute payments and going down and not being, absolutely awful.
The amount of money in the Premier League is killing any ambition, really.
Yeah.
Which is the opposite effect of what it should do.
Exactly. No one's given chance to young managers coming through. It was amazing a few years ago when Gary Monk got the Swansea job.
Yeah, and even then, it was kind of just a case of there's only a few matches left. Let's just keep Gary Monk here, and then he did well and earned it.
Yeah, exactly. But very few managers will get an opportunity like that. There's
Shakespeare got that opportunity, but he's just
he got sacked.
He's been sacked.
He got sacked.
It showed.
Klopp probably is a better manager. He has won things. In France,
he's been to the Champions League semi-final.
He has. So he does have a pedigree, and he has Premier League experience, the all-important Premier League experience that everyone touts about, and is the reason why. As we talk about West Ham having sacked Slaven Bilic, taking however many months, he was rumoured to be sacked last March.
Yeah.
And it's now, we're in the middle of November when he actually finally gets sacked.
Yeah.
And the only manager that's really realistically been linked with them, and is to be confirmed basically, is David Moyes.
But there was a report out this morning as well that they approached Carlo Ancelotti, which I think says a lot about West Ham's, they went straight to one of the top managers in the last 15 years. They didn't think to go abroad to someone that, people might not have heard of. Yeah.
Well, I'd say the reasons they did that, you have to respect it to a certain extent because they're aspirational. They're going for
there's that too as well.
I don't think that's why they did it. I think the main reason they did it is because Carlo Ancelotti has Premier League experience.
Yeah.
And who else has Premier League experience once he says no?
David Moyes.
Moyes. He's Premier League experience. He's available. Sam Allardyce isn't available because he's retired, in inverted commas, from club football. And then who else is there? Alan Pardew. As you said, he's already been manager of West Ham, so he's out. And then who else is there?
in terms of Premier League experience, not much.
Exactly. Steve McLaren.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is he working at? He's in the Championship.
He's in the Championship, I think. Listeners, email in or tweet us and tell us where Steve McLaren is these days.
Yeah,
because we don't remember. But that's the thing. These clubs are paralysed by fear. They're picking from a small crop of managers. Because of that, no managers are getting a look in of the younger variety. As you said, what was that stat you actually had there about?
It was 7 of the last 13 Premier League appointments have all been British managers.
And they've all been of the same group of managers that are of a certain age, above 50, above 60. Like, how old is Roy Hodgson? 71?
72, I think.
72 years old, and he is...
no, he's 70. I'm thinking Iopenke is a 72.
72. But Roy Hodgson... Basically, Frank de Boer was sacked after a poor start. We all admit it was a poor start, but wasn't given any opportunity at all.
It's kind of the opposite problem with West Ham. It's like he wasn't given an opportunity.
It is, but it was on the part of the owners being clever because they saw their man of a Premier League experienced manager, first and foremost, who has experience.
Yeah, they knew they could get in first ahead of the likes of West Ham.
So before West Ham pulled the trigger, they got their man. Because he would have been pole position for West. If we reversed the fortunes and said Slaven Bilic was sacked after 4 matches this season.
Yeah.
Roy Hodgson would be West Ham manager right now.
Probably, yeah.
I don't have any doubt in my mind.
Yeah, probably, or they would go back to Moyes again. Still.
Yeah, exactly. And Moyes could be at Crystal Palace right now.
Yeah.
That's the situation that's in there at the moment. It's so odd that they're... Like, they complain, clubs complain, pundits complain, but none of them seem to see the problem that it's the ownership of the clubs that are so focused on not being relegated that they're picking the same things over and over again, same managers. The club is not evolving. They're surviving. Like, Sunderland was a case in point with this.
Yeah.
Sunderland kept hiring an experienced manager.
Yeah.
Sacking that manager, hiring another.
Even someone like Dick Advocate, like who is abroad, doesn't have the Premier League experience, is still really
huge experience in Scotland.
Yeah.
He's managed with Rangers for years.
Yeah, he still has huge experience. Like, they're not going for someone like Marco Silva.
Yeah, they're not. That was the thing. Like, there's been 10 managers since Roy Keane left Sunderland. Like, that club is not.
Yeah, I think there was a stat about John O'Shea. It was like, while he was at Man United, he was only there under one manager for 12 years, but he's seen 12 managers in 6 years.
Yeah, that's absolutely, that is appalling.
Yeah,
at that club, and Sunderland is a complete basket case of club who may well go down again because of this, this process of hiring and sacking.
Yeah,
of the same.
Like, they've already sacked a manager this season. Simon Grayson's been sacked last week.
Exactly, but it's like it's incestuous in its design because
they're bringing in Peter Reid.
Peter Reid is back. Why aren't they thinking outside the box? Why aren't they doing anything that's different that can actually progress the club? No one takes these risks anymore. Like
I think Southampton are really the only club that does. Like, they've gone for Claude Puel, Maurizio, Pellegrino.
I see that
they're another level above these teams as well. They can maybe afford to do that.
True, they are.
And they're the ones that brought in Pochettino as well.
They did bring in Pochettino, and I think Pochettino's the kind of outlier in that group.
Yeah. Because
the other managers they brought in were pragmatic to the furthest.
Yeah.
And they're just, survival-based managers.
But to be fair,
they're not trying to evolve anything. They've never been long-term project managers. Yeah. Other than Pochettino, who they kind of seem to have got lucky with more than anything, because their subsequent appointments have not been that inspiring.
But, when Claude Puel did have poor performances with that Southampton team, they were progressive and they just sacked him, hoping to bring in Pellegrino to improve the team.
But it's more of the same.
Yeah, I think a part of that is just, Puel ingrained the tactics into that team so much that it needs to be beaten out of them. You would think it would be done by now, but maybe Pellegrino's just not good enough to do that. Perhaps
he doesn't have the pedigree of other managers, and he is from what we're saying, he doesn't have the Premier League experience as a first team. Well, he was a first team coach in the Premier League, but he doesn't have the managerial experience of running the show. He did do well, I think it was Liverpool, wasn't he, under Rafa Benitez?
Oh, was he? I didn't know.
For all those years, he was, yeah. So he does have experience in the league, but he doesn't have those first, But I'm trying to think, outside of Marco Silva, very few managers get hired in the Premier League don't have either prior Premier League experience. The only one I can think of is Pepe Mel, but I wasn't really following his career before. Yeah, Pepe Mel was a shot in the dark. Yeah, and that didn't work out very well. No, and then what did they do? Tony Pulis. And you wonder, Tony Pulis looks like he could be gone in the next few weeks as well. You wonder, he
he could go into any of those bottom clubs and
yeah,
fix them
I
up.
would. If Tony Pulis, how many matches? Like they're without a win. West Brom are without a win out 9 matches, I think now.
Yeah,
in any competition.
yeah,
that's fair to say. 9 matches in any competition. If he gets sacked in the morning, he'll be entirely justified. They are playing awful football. They don't look like they're coming out of it, and they're going to be relegated if they continue the way they're going.
Yeah,
he gets sacked, and then he'll be hired the following day by Everton, or he'll be hired the following day.
Mark Hughes is another one as well that's gone around the place. He could go at any point as well at Stoke, and he'd slot in easily at any of those bottom 10
It's
teams. Reminiscent
of Italy in like the 90s, where managers would just chop and change between the big clubs. But the difference is, in the 90s in Italy, those managers were good. Yeah, they had different ideas. You would have Zdeněk Zeman at Roma just playing like, we'll just play 7 strikers. We'll have the crack. And, Capello at the other side. And they'll swap around jobs. And Capello take over at Roma and Zdeněk Zeman will go somewhere else. Yeah. This type of stuff would happen. But in England, they all play terrible football that doesn't evolve the game. They all are competing to sign the same types of players. The John Walters, no offence to John Walters. Great player of the world. But, the John Walters of the world, the Peter Crouches of the world. He's been around it all. Peter Crouch alone has been around.
He's still scoring as well.
He is, and fair play to him. Or Jermaine Defoe. They'll try and sign Jermaine Defoe.
He's gone everywhere.
These are and they'll keep doing the same things, and then they wonder the following season, how are we back in this position again? Yeah. Well, I'll tell you why you're back in this position again. You've just perpetrated the terrible, terrible flaw in the game of just keeping everything the same. Yeah. They say the more things change, the more they stay the same. But bringing David Moyes into West Ham it's a change, but I don't think he's going to make them play any better football. No. He's not going to help them play the West Ham way.
Certainly not. They were known for not playing the nicest football at Everton, even when he was doing well.
Yeah, and I can guarantee it's not going to get any prettier in the Olympic Stadium.
It seems like the only way for a manager to get in to the Premier League is to literally go to the Championship and get promoted into the Premier League. Yeah. We look at Eddie Howe, Sean Dyche, David Wagner. They've all come up in the last 4 or 5 years now, or last 3 or 4 years, and they're all doing quite well now.
It seems that the Championship is a league where they kind of take these risks. Yeah. Wagner being signed on as manager back in the day. Both Brendan Rodgers and Sean Dyche both worked at Chelsea, and they both got managerial jobs based on their work in the youth teams at Chelsea.
Yeah, there's Roberto
Martinez at Swansea, and earlier, further down the league, he got signed. It's very... It's an odd little situation. We spoke about before the show that Nuno Espirito Santo, the manager of Wolves at the moment. Yeah. Wolves being owned by Gestafute, the kind of marketing / agent company of Jorge Mendes. Jorge Mendes, the Cristiano Ronaldo's agent, Jose Mourinho's agent. He owns that club, or his companies basically own that club, so they're getting loads of players from these big clubs that he also has clients with. And Nuno Espirito Santo is doing great work with them. They're top of the Championship. They're playing fantastic football. They almost beat Man City, which is more than any other team.
Brought them to penalties.
Brought them to penalty shootout, and they were very unlucky not to win.
Kept them quiet for 120 minutes.
They did, and it's a lot more than any other team in the Premier League has managed so far this season. Yeah. But he's been linked with the Everton the job, and he doesn't want it.
Yeah,
he does not want to have
He sees the greater ambition at Wolves.
Well, yeah, but it's also that you go to Everton halfway through a season.
And you just fix this mess.
It's a mess, yeah, you're right.
As opposed to having this team that you set up yourself, everything's going well, you're probably going to be playing Everton next season anyway, unless somehow Everton get relegated or Wolves collapse. Yeah. It's much better long term if he does stay at Wolves.
Exactly, and he sees that as long term strategic thinking, believe it or not. And Everton don't have that. They're looking for a quick fix. Who's doing well right now in the Championship? We'll hire him. Yeah. He's top of the league. Let's take him. They're not looking for, who's going to build our club right? Who's going to take our young players to squad? Like Everton, we went through it before a few weeks ago. Everton have quite a good squad. Yeah. They have young players, Pickford, Keane, Seamus Coleman come back
yesterday.
It is Colgate, the young player midfielder. Tom Davis. And they still have, they brought in... the Dutch player, who was his name?
Davy
Klaassen, and they have Sigurdsson, fantastic player, and they still have Wayne Rooney,
Yeah,
legend
of the Premier League. Still getting on,
But they're still good players. They're a solid Premier League side. James McCarthy's still there. Yeah. And, it's not a team to be trifled with. This is a team that should be in the top 10.
Yeah, easily.
Nobody with Premier League experience, in inverted commas, outside of Big Sam, it seems, wants to manage them.
Yeah, like Sean Dyche has been linked with it, but I don't know why Sean Dyche would bother going. Like, it's almost a step down at this point.
I wouldn't say that.
Burnley are up in 7th place, are they not, at the moment?
Yeah, but Everton have a greater potential for growth, especially with the ownership change
because they have so much money.
And they have a good young side they can build. Like, Burnley have to sell to buy players, and they've done it quite well over the last few seasons.
Yeah, they've brought in a lot of the Irish players, which must be why they're doing so well.
It is exactly why they're doing so well. But they've sold their strikers.
Andrew Gray went even just this summer.
And the previous seasons.
Danny Ings has been gone for a while.
Exactly.
Somewhere in Liverpool.
He's in Liverpool, injured, poor guy.
Yeah.
He's a fine player, he's just been very unfortunate.
He's still young as well.
He is. But, none of these managers want to take the risk of leaving where they are before it destroys what they
everything's
built.
going well where they are. Like, they don't want to go and fix in this terrible mess.
But Everton and West Ham as well, and any of these other clubs that are going to sack their managers, because how many managers have been sacked already?
There's already been 3, I think.
3 sacked, and then there's
potential to be another 4.
Because Mark Hughes isn't...
Mark Hughes, Tony Pulis, even Antonio Conte to a lesser extent.
Yeah, Antonio Conte is apparently... This is all the rumours coming out. He's a dead man walking at Chelsea, despite them...
He's had that meeting with Abramovich, which is never a good sign for a Chelsea manager.
Exactly. So, apart from that, no manager is safe. It's in the Premier League.
Could be under trouble as well now. Like, they're not performing at all.
Out, yeah. A lot of things could still happen, but I guarantee you very few of those clubs are ever going to take a risk on a manager. Like, think of the days gone by when, clubs think outside the box.
Yeah.
When Southampton hire Pochettino. When Arsenal hire Arsene Wenger.
From Japan.
From Japan. When, I'm trying to think of other ones there. Like, even managers from abroad that actually done well, and they bring them in and they actually...
Even like Chelsea used to just have player managers.
Yeah, that's...
Glenn Hoddle and
Ruth Hullis and Jean-Luc Vialli.
You'd never see that now.
Even Claudio Ranieri, I know he'd done well before he'd gone to Chelsea, but he was a kind of a weird decision to make as manager, and he did well with Chelsea, in fairness with him.
Yeah, he got them to the Champions League semi-final. They finished 2nd in the league or 3rd.
Yeah. But as well as that, one of Claudio Ranieri's greatest achievements was the season before Abramovich bought the club. He qualified Chelsea for the Champions League, and they had made no signings. So
they were almost in administration at that point.
They were, under Ken Bates, and he got them Champions League with no players signed or anything.
Yeah. Like that, like you'd never see an appointment like Claudio Ranieri.
No. You're never going to see these like, you see an odd one now and then.
Yeah, like Marco Silva is just...
Very much an outlier.
Rare, it's an outlier. That's the best way.
And Claude Puel as well, to an extent.
Yeah, but again, he still has a certain amount of experience.
Yeah, but you're not seeing them take risks. They're not going and Barcelona, the biggest clubs in the world. You know who we're going to hire as a manager? Our youth team manager. Yeah. They'll hire Pep Guardiola. Bayern Munich going to we're going to build something different here. We're going to change the way we play. We've won the Champions League. We're going to hire a completely different manager to change the way we play.
Yeah.
And they hire Pep Guardiola again.
Yeah.
But then you go to Juventus and they're like, we want to change our whole team ethic. We finished 7th 2 seasons in a row. It's not good enough. We're going to bring in this disciplinary young manager who used to play for us, club legend Antonio Conte. Yeah. And he changed that whole club, and now they're a global power.
Yeah.
It goes Arrigo Sacchi for Milan. The current Max Allegri at Milan was hired, and everyone thought, he's just friends with
even like Laurent Blanc at PSG.
Yeah, Didier Deschamps, when he was at Monaco, got them the Champions League final 15 years ago now. These are like off the wall picks for big clubs.
Yeah.
And you could say, maybe these clubs have a bit of, they have the luxury, they're not going to be relegated. But, you have
There's
to
still
take
a lot
the
of
risks.
stake for these clubs. Like, if it goes wrong and they don't qualify for the Champions League, like, that's huge.
Yeah. You have to...
Like David Moyes at Man United.
Exactly. And they have to take these risks if they're going to ever be successful, if they're ever going to climb up.
Even like Dortmund bringing in someone like Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, at the time, and from Mainz. And, they continue to think about Thomas Tuchel, and even bringing in... I've forgotten his name now. The former Ajax manager.
Peter Bosch.
From Ajax. That was a bit of a unexpected...
like they did well in the Europa League, but like they still didn't win Eredivisie or anything.
But it was they saw what they liked and they decided to hire it.
Yeah, like he fit the system.
Valverde at Barcelona, like same type of... these are huge jobs.
Yeah, there's a clear continuation
if this was England...
you wouldn't be seeing that. Like,
no, none of these clubs. Like West Ham could have gone and hired someone of the Valverde ilk. They could have hired Thomas Tuchel. They could try and get in. Like maybe he could go to sell the club. We've got an amazing Olympic stadium. We've got the most moneyed league in the world. We have a squad here. We have one of the best youth systems in England. We're in London. Build this club. We'll give you a 5-year contract. They didn't do that.
No, they just went for David Moyes.
David Moyes, probably a 2-year contract. They'll sack him in a season when they're either relegated or...
If they get relegated and they have no money or something, they'll probably sack him in the summer. And
exactly. And Everton are the same. Like, why aren't Everton trying to explore these avenues? Why aren't, clubs that are in trouble, like West Brom, looking like, okay, we're in trouble. We've won no matches in the last 9. We're going to get relegated very soon if we don't pick up the form because we're going to head into a really tough part of the season. What are we doing? Oh, we'll just say with Tony Pulis.
Yeah.
Our fans are going to launch projectiles at one of our best players because they don't like him.
Yeah.
That's not good. Your team should be behind you.
Yeah, there's no cohesion there at all, it seems.
And that's the whole bottom half of the league, It's
just the teams that came up that look like they have any semblance of an idea of what's going on at the club.
Exactly. And that's because they have long-term...
Yeah, and even then Newcastle are just fortunate to have a great manager in the club.
Who no doubt went there. They picked him because he has Premier League experience.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Seems like
he is a quality manager.
He is, yeah, but that was more luck than design, I would say.
Yeah, the fact that he likes the area helps.
This is the thing, yeah. It does help Rafa Benitez liking the north of England, but for some bizarre reason.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. These clubs do not... They are not designing... They're not doing things the way
There's no vision.
Exactly, there's no vision. That's a good way of saying it. They're not...
Yeah.
It's...
that's why I'm so interested, because to see what Man United do post Mourinho, because Ed Woodward just doesn't look like he has any vision for what Man United is supposed to be. And they're the biggest club in the world, really.
Yeah, Ed Woodward, they're one of the biggest, certainly. Ed Woodward is the perfect example of this, because they often said, why isn't he thinking, why is this man in charge of footballing decisions?
He's a businessman. He's
an
not
accountant.
Man.
That's what he is. That's what he trained as. He's great to come up with caribou.
Yeah, he's doing fine on the business end of the club, but when it comes to footballing, he just seems completely inept.
Yeah, and he just, what's the biggest name right now? Who can I get? Who can I throw money at? Exactly, and it seems to be that's their transfer policy as well at Manchester United, and they're playing long-ball football with the most expensively assigned, one of the most expensively assigned squads in history.
It's just a total mess at the club at the moment. They've actually started the season well, which is the weird thing. They are still second. 23 points from 33 is an alright total. Yeah. But it still just seems like it's just about to just collapse on them at any moment.
It could, yeah. And that's the thing. It seems that football administration is dying. It's never been great. A lot of people in football talk about how disgraceful antics going on in clubs. But you will not see... Arsene Wenger will retire soon.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you the same. Who's got Premier League experience or who's won something before?
Yeah,
shoehorn
someone like Allegri or something.
Yeah, because it's a big name. It's someone who has experience. It's not because this is a person. They're not making a Dortmund decision.
Yeah,
not making a Barcelona
I'd love to
decision.
see them try to go for an Leonardo Jardim or something at Monaco, who's he's building something there, or Arrigo Sacchi at Napoli, or even Luciano Spalletti. Sorry, yes. For some reason, I get Saki and Sarri mixed up, even though they're totally different.
Saki at Napoli would be something. But yeah, you're right. But this is the thing. It's too early to say. Maybe Woodward will have learned something in the preceding years about football.
I think he's just going to try to get Pochettino, and if that fails,
it'll be like Real Madrid, just trying to who's a big name? We'll just get this big name.
Yeah, exactly.
Real Madrid fell on Zinedine Zidane, who's won them 2 Champions Leagues and a league title.
Yeah, and even then,
that was just a lucky. It's we have him and we promote him, and he'll do as a caretaker till the end of the season.
And then they just won the Champions League.
Yeah,
somehow.
This is it's mad. It's pure pot luck, and this is the situation that football finds itself into. It's not looking like a very nice future. But it's the
not
future
a very well run future of the sport.
No, and FIFA lead from example, and their administration is just as bad. So
that's a fair point. That will do us for the topic of the show. Join us after the break, where we will preview the World Cup playoffs. Welcome back to the Total Football Podcast. We're going to look at the World Cup playoffs in Europe now. They're next weekend. It starts with Northern Ireland against Switzerland. Can the Northern Irish do it?
I think they will. I think Switzerland are very unfortunate not to actually qualify as
They got 27 out of 3 points. It'd be pretty unlucky for them not to qualify.
Better points total than almost every other team that qualified for the World Cup already from Europe. But I think Northern Ireland might have, I'd say Michael O'Neill's been watching every single moment of Switzerland play. They'll have his team marshalled and ready to go and ready to fight for that World Cup place.
In a one-off or two-off match, I suppose, like you'd back Northern Ireland against most teams in the world.
Yeah, at the moment certainly they're well marshalled. They want it, and they'll if they'll go down fighting. That's for sure.
Yeah, like it's been a long time now since Northern Ireland tried a World Cup.
30 years, 32 years by the time.
Was
86.
Was it 80? That was 82.
Mexico.
Yeah. Like it's been a while. Like
Pat Jennings is in goal. Pat Jennings 70 now.
Yeah. But like they're gonna want this a lot. Whereas like Switzerland were at Brazil, they didn't really give the best showing at Brazil.
No, Switzerland are a solid international team.
Yeah, they're a solid team, but
they're not. I
feel like Switzerland are summed up by their star player Shedrin Shaqiri. Like on their day, they can be really good, but then just sometimes they just lack a consistency.
Yeah, Granit Xhaka. Right there.
Yeah, they're Swiss footballer of the year.
Yeah, but that's it. They're all like that. They're all Shaqiri, they're all Xhaka, they're all hit and miss. They're all very floaty players. Yeah,
like I remember Shaqiri scoring a hat-trick at the last World Cup, but that was about it.
They're very unfortunate to go out to Argentina, I remember.
Yeah, it was a last-minute winner.
In extra time, I think.
But even then, like, that wasn't a great match.
No, it was awful. But, that's what Switzerland bring. What's the other one then after that?
After that, Croatia played Greece. Both of these matches will be on the first leg 9th, second leg on the 12th.
Greece have done, like, you have to give Greece a bit of kudos here because Claudio Ranieri managed them in the last
and they
tournament
were dreadful.
Awful, and that really harmed their...
Lost to the Faroe Islands, or drew with the Faroe Islands?
I think they lost to the Faroe Islands. They're finished appalling, but actually harmed their seeding going into they lost friendlies and everything. Their coefficient had dropped, so they did actually quite well to come out of it.
I think they were seeded third.
Exactly, and they did well to actually pull out into the playoffs, but I think their journey ends here.
Yeah, that Croatia team is like, it'd be a huge disappointment for them not to be at the World Cup.
Like they were in a tough group. That's
they've never really lived up to their potential, and like it seems like the FA like is a bit of a mess going on there. But you'd think that they'd be able to set that aside for these two matches.
It'll probably be Modric's last chance at the World Cup.
Yeah, same with like the Rakitic and Mandzukic.
Yeah, and
even Ivan Perisic, like they're all reaching their 30s now.
Yeah, so this is the time for Croatia now.
It's kind of like the Cote d'Ivoire at the last World Cup. It was kind of their last chance, like this, and they were a generation that never really were able to live up to expectations.
Well, they won the African Nations Cup at the end.
In terms of the World Cup, anyway.
Yeah. But that's probably going to be a Croatia win.
Yeah, Greece might be able to frustrate them. You would think that Croatia they have that.
They have the killer edge.
They have the talent to see them through. And then probably the biggest try after that is Sweden against Italy.
I can only see this going one way. I know Sweden have good young players, but Italy
they might be too soon for Sweden as well. Like these are on the first leg is on in Sweden on the 10th, and then the second leg 13th. Like it'll be, it's not the best Italy team. They brought up Jorginho as well, which is interesting. He hasn't been called up before. The skeptical side of me would be like, oh, that's just to prevent him from joining Brazil, but like it's still maybe Ventura is kind of seeing the light and how this Italy team should be playing. Yeah,
I'm not sure if he knows how this Italy team should be playing. I imagine they're going to just put out the Juventus formation and try
as many Juve players as they can.
Exactly, and Bonucci be thrown back in there as well.
Yeah, reunite the BBC.
Yeah, and he hasn't played now in the last two matches because of his red cards.
Yeah, he was suspended.
So he'll be raring to go, I'd say, and he wants an escape from his Milan catastrophe thus far.
It would be disappointing as well, like Croatia, to not see Italy in the World Cup, but I'd feel bad for Sweden as well, just because like Sweden were probably the best non-seeded team there, and then they got the best seeded team.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for them that they've drawn Italy, but Italy always qualify.
Yeah,
that's just kind of apart from 58.
Yeah, 58 was the last time. Like that was ages ago.
Yeah, so this is the time for it, and then the final playoff match,
the most important one to us, to our hearts. Denmark take on the Republic of Ireland on Saturday and then Tuesday.
First match in Copenhagen, second match in Dublin.
Is the fact that they're away first an advantage? Or
I think it is because they get to bring them back then.
Yeah, like Ireland's away form is better than their home form at the moment. They didn't lose away from home. They won 3 matches away during the campaign. Like they won in Moldova, they won in Austria, which is a huge win, and they obviously won in Wales last month.
Yeah,
like. You'd almost expect them to win the first leg and lose the second leg the way things are going.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say Ireland will be aiming for a 0-0 draw in Copenhagen.
One goal is all they need in the first, because away goals do come into play for these playoffs. Oh, yeah. So like if they can get it even just a 1-1 draw, which is the definition of an Ireland performance, is a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
Then bring that back to the Viva. Like that's what happened with Bosnia, and they got the 1-1 draw in the fog. Yeah, and then they were able to bring it back, and they were oddly comfortable in that second leg.
But this Denmark side, they have Christian Eriksen.
Yeah.
They have that player, I can't remember, Paulsen.
I'm not sure.
They have a lot of...
Yeah.
Nicholas Bentner.
Nicholas Bentner's there. They have Andreas Christensen from Chelsea.
Andreas Christensen.
Kasper Schmeichel.
Kasper Schmeichel. They have a solid spine going through that team.
Yeah.
They have pace on the wings. They have, they're not a classic Denmark team. We're not saying that, but...
Yeah,
they are better than Ireland.
It seems like they are like Ireland in the way that they play. From what I've read, it seems like they play more of a long ball style. Just get the ball to Eriksen.
Yeah.
So like the plan would be, I would think, like no David Moyes in the first leg is huge for Ireland.
Yeah.
Like David Moyes probably not the best player in the world.
Well, he's captain.
But he is very important for this Ireland team. Otherwise, it's just going to be Glenn Whelan.
It's a great YouTuber, David Moyes.
He is. Yeah, that's the most important thing.
So Glenn Whelan
is who I expect to start because James McCarthy's not fit.
And Harry Arthur alongside him.
Yeah, Harry
Two players
Arthur
who don't contribute greatly.
Yeah, like I feel like Arthur has been unlucky as well.
He has, but it's not the system that doesn't suit him.
Yeah,
he's not
like the ball's played over him a lot of the time.
Yeah, and he's not one for a hard tackle.
But he did play well against Wales, I thought. Or did he play against Wales? He did play against Wales.
Yeah, but he didn't play well.
He played all right, considering the dummy for the goal was.
Yeah. That was his highlight of the match.
But it was a pretty important highlight.
Yeah, it was. But another thing is, who are they going to play up front?
It seems like Daryl Murphy is the only one fit. Sean Maguire is injured. I don't know. Shane Long is back, I think, but
Shane Long
can't score to save his life.
No, and
he might be a good. Like the thing is, like both strikers are good impact subs.
Yeah, we have
neither of them are starters.
But yeah, Daryl Murphy is scoring a lot of goals in the championship. At least there's that.
Yeah. Like, he's done alright for Ireland in his last few performances, but I don't know, will he be... Like, if we can just play the ball out wide, James McLean can whip in a ball, I'm sure.
This is the dream. You're already visualising Ireland winning.
Yeah, I was kind of optimistic before we started this, but now I expect Denmark to win.
No.
They have Christian Eriksen.
We'll stay hopeful. Like, I'm hoping we come back next week, it'll be a 0-0 draw, taking it to...
There's something around a 0-0 draw that I'm not comfortable with.
Yeah, but I think that's what they're going to go for. I think Martin O'Neill's not going to do anything but try and defend.
If they score, it'll be huge.
Set pieces.
We could do with some fog.
Yeah, it could happen, you never know.
No one knew that Robbie Brady scored, but he did score.
He did, yeah. We'll claim that goal.
It was a huge goal as well.
It was. So we're saying Ireland to win the World Cup.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, do it for Jackie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll do us for this week's edition of the Total Football Podcast. Thank you for listening, and please do get in touch. You can email us at the tfpod@gmail.com, and please follow us on social media at the tfpod. You can follow us individually. I'm at Cheesy Harpun. Andrew is at Combon27. Remember to subscribe, rate, and review on whatever platform you decide to listen on. Andrew, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me.